Joining us now, trial attorney and legal analyst Mercedes Colwin, co-host of the M&M in the Morning podcast. Mercedes, I want to read a portion of a letter that was offered up from Aubrey Gonsalves. She's the youngest member of the Gonsalves family. And she says, what the families of Ethan, Kaylee, Maddie, and Xana have endured over the past 2.5 years is beyond comprehension. And she says the introduction of this plea deal just weeks before the scheduled trial is shocking and cruel. She says, we're not asking for vengeance. We want accountability. We want dignity for our loved ones. Will the judge take that into account, deciding whether or not to accept or deny this plea deal?
Well, he certainly will, but by all accounts, just like Alex said, Marni, it will clearly be accepted by the judge. I mean, it's obvious that the one issue that really remained in this case was whether or not that he would be set to death if he was convicted by a jury. Once that was removed from the table by the prosecutors, it's likely that they will make the cause for the plea to be accepted. The prosecutors, and obviously behind the scenes, this isn't something that just came up. I'm sure there were behind the scenes discussions between the prosecutors and the defense. But with the death penalty still on the table, there was no room for negotiation. Once the prosecutors removed it, that's when the parties were able to solidify a plea deal.
But the acceptance of a plea deal is not the same as an admittance of guilt in this case, is it?
You're exactly right. I mean, one of the things about what's most frustrating, which is why you hear from the Gonsalves family who is most vocal, and it's heartbreaking for all the families, you're not going to have a confession. There's nothing in this plea deal that will require that Kohberger address the court, address the victims' families, and say why he did it, that he's sorry that he did it, that he actually committed these terrible crimes. None of that. I mean, he could sit there silently while his lawyers simply accept it. Now, one thing about there will be an allocution. The allocution is a very formal hearing where the judge asks questions of Kohberger. Those questions will be, you understand that there's a plea deal. No one's forcing you to accept the plea deal. You understand that these are the charges. You understand that you will have consecutive life sentences with no possibility of parole. And you understand that there will be no appeal from having accepted this plea deal. That will be on the record, and Kohberger will have to testify under oath that he accepts all of those terms. But in terms of giving comfort to these families and in terms of addressing them, there's no expectation that will happen.
Right. I mean, it's just hard to imagine closure, whatever closure is, without some sort of confession in this case. How about the evidence, Mercedes? I mean, if this plea deal is accepted, does some of the evidence ever make the light of day?
Well, the evidence, thankfully, it's been covered pretty heavily by the media because there's been such intense media attention about this case and what evidence that there is that exists that would have actually been presented to the jury had the case had proceeded on August 18th as it had been scheduled. So we already know a lot of the evidence. The biggest question that will remain unanswered forever, unless Kohberger decides to give some comfort to this family, is why? Why? Why did this happen? Why did you do this? But no, there will be, unless somewhere down the line he decides to address that very key question for the family.
It is always emotional prior to sentencing to hear from the families of victims in these horrific murder cases. Will the family still be given that opportunity if a plea deal is accepted and there is no trial?
It likely will have a victim impact statement prior to, generally speaking, that's what happens in these types of hearings where the victims can address the judge and actually can address some of the most scathing feelings that they have towards the defendant. So we may see victim impact statements come in as well.
The family also pointed out, I mean, just the burden that has already been placed on their unimaginable grief. The timing of this plea deal just weeks before trial. Is there anything that stands out to you as unusual? Why over the last 2.5 years have they had to go through this process expecting a trial only in the final hour to learn that it's not going to happen? Is the timing peculiar at all?
Honestly, Marni, I thought about this past weekend. Once the most devastating blow to the defense was done, which was the alternate perpetrators theory, was rejected by the judge. The defense had raised the prospect of having 4 individuals identified in court as the possible perpetrators. Now, thankfully, the judge mercifully redacted the names of these 4 individuals that the defense claimed may have committed these murders. But those 4 individuals behind the scenes had been cooperative with law enforcement. They actually had DNA testing done, and they were excluded from having any possibility of being the perpetrators, which is why the judge denied it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.